back. I'm Jasmine Blackwell here with Frederick Douglass, a black abolitionist in the late 1800s. Can you tell us a little about your experience as a slave?
Of course, I was born a slave, and growing up as a slave, I did not understand the severity. No, it was severity. Until my slave master's wife taught me how to read and write. And eventually, my lessons would halt, and I began to teach myself. My education sprouted from there on. After some failed attempts, I managed to escape to Maryland by training, began to advocate for the freedom of slaves. So all in all my life as a slave was pretty shitty.
That must have been quite an experience. Now, what are some ways you have advocated for your beliefs?
Well, I exercised my beliefs in many ways. I was invited to speak my story at a meeting at the Bristol Anti-Slavery Society. I also spoke at the Massachusetts and Nantucket in 1845. I published the book Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, which is me. It is a biography of my early life and the beginnings of my new life beginning as a slave.
Oh my, how intriguing. Is there anything else you have done?
Well, yes, I also supported the women's suffrage movement, and I was the only African American to speak at the first Women's Rights Commission in Seneca Falls in 1848.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Douglass.
Thank you as well. I have enjoyed speaking with you today.
Okay, hi, I am Lily with CNN, here speaking with Susan B. Anthony, an advocate for women's rights. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Lily, thanks. So I started my fight for women's rights in 1852 with my best friend Elizabeth, and we basically fight for the right for women to own property and vote whenever they want. In 1866, I started the American Women's Suffrage Association with the intent to have state-by-state voting, and in 1869, Wyoming was the first state to do that, so that was pretty successful. In 1868, I started a paper called The Revolution, and it was established for justice for all, not just for women, but for everyone, to have equal rights. In 1900, we persuaded the University of Rochester to admit women to be educated. And funny story, a little fact about myself here, Lily. In 1872, I was arrested for voting illegally.
Oh, that's always fun.
It was so exciting. But my hope is to get the 19th Amendment published by 1920, and I would like it to be called Susan B. Anthony Amendment.
May we hear the amendment?
Yes, word for word. Here it is.
The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation.
Hi, I am Bonnie with CNN, and I'm here today with Margaret Sanger. So tell me, I've heard that you started a few influential newspapers.
I have. It's called What Every Girl Should Know, and it educates women about sex. And I also have a magazine that is The Woman Rebel, and it promotes women's rights to have birth control. And actually, my magazine had made it illegal, so I fled to England for a little while. So yeah, but in 1916 I had opened my first birth control clinic, and it treats women who have had back alley abortions. And a quote that I have always said to women is that no woman can call herself free until she can choose consciously whether she will or will not be a mother.
Well, thank you. That's very inspiring. I hope that everything goes well for you and that you help women with their right to
Have abortions.
and birth
Thank you.
control.
Thank you. Bonnie?
I'm Taylor with CNN News. I'm here with Rosa Parks. Rosa, tell us about your efforts to stop segregation.
I refused to surrender my bus seat to a white passenger. This helped spur the Montgomery bus boycott and other efforts to help end segregation. We encourage people to stay home, take a cab, carpool, or walk. Public buses idly and the boycott was a success. Montgomery lifted its enforcement of segregation on public buses in 1956.
What was it like as an African American on these buses?
Bus drivers provided separate but equal accommodations for white and black passengers by assigning seats. A line was roughly placed in the middle of the bus, separating white passengers in the front and African American passengers in the back. African Americans had to pay their fare at the front, get off, and reboard the bus at the back door. If white people wanted to move seats, the line would roughly be moved back, and African Americans would have to be asked to stand up.
That's awful. I'm so glad you helped in this segregation. Is there anything else you did to help the movement?
Yes, I was also secretary of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, from 1943 to 1957.
Thank you for your time. I'm Taylor with CNN News. I'm here with Martin Luther King Jr. Martin, tell us about your fight for African American rights.
I'm a leader in the African American civil rights movement, and I believe in nonviolence and civil disobedience. I led the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, which lasted 385 days, organized nonviolent protests in Birmingham, Alabama, and delivered my I Have a Dream speech. In 1963 at the March on Washington, I received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 for combating racial inequality through nonviolence. All this helped bring about the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
Great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain.
Hi, I'm AJ here with CNN, standing next to a gay rights activist. Tell us more about what situations are going on today with homosexuality.
Well, as of today, there are 35 states in the U.S. that have legalized gay marriage.
That's fantastic. There's only 15 more states to go. How did the gay rights movement start off? How did it spark?
In 1951, the Mattachine Society became the first national gay rights organization, which was formed by Harry Hay.
That's so interesting. Now, I hear a lot of talk about a hush-hush rule in the military about they don't ask, don't tell policy. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, yes, I can. It is known as the don't ask, don't tell policy that allows gays to serve in the military, but bans homosexual activity. President Clinton wanted to set up prohibition against gays in the military, which led to the discharge of thousands of men and women.
How cheeky. Can you tell us more about the equality in the workplace?
In November, the House passed a bill ensuring equal rights for gays.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Thank you for speaking with us today. Thank you. CNN is dead.